Hey, how's it going? My name's Dr. Aaron Zetner, and I'm looking forward to teaching this upcoming term at UC San Diego. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the approach I'm going to take with developing the online course and really creating an atmosphere and an environment that really facilitates learning, engagement, and really a community of practice amongst the students. And so before I get into the approaches, and I look to address around 11 of the questions that are associated with this assignment. But really thinking about that is my approach is going to be very constructivist. And the reason why I think about my target audience of the individuals, it's going to be graduate, postgraduate students, individuals that bring a diversity of background from culture, education, insight, experiences, lived experiences that they can really bring into the classroom. And I'll serve as the facilitator of that to help facilitate knowledge, collaborations, and insight building, where we can all learn from each other to really create professionals and scholars of the future. So with that said, prior to setting up this class, I really want to create or re-engage this environment of online learning. As we've gone through COVID-19, some of the things that we're used to now is engaging over Zoom, engaging over various media. We're learning that information consumption occurs differently with everyone. I think about the VARC rule, really looking at how people are consuming information, building information to knowledge and making that knowledge into applied action. As I move forward, I really consider the 9 intelligences. The 9 intelligences really capture the way people not just learn, but then also apply that learning and then can really help teach others. And so as we cultivate this knowledge amongst us, and like I say, going back to building that community of practice, that constructivist approach where, like I said, I meet with the students, we engage, problem solve, and really apply new theories learned. And even maybe create new theories or insights from our various courses. So I really want to introduce, so some of the students may have never been online before. So what does that look like? So orienting the students to the online environment is really creating an open, welcome, easy to navigate experience that helps students feel confident and able to access information, to be able to research for information, and then share their insight gained. And the approach I'm going to do with introductions to that is going to be videos. It's going to be step-by-step instructions. It's going to be activities where they can do some exploratory work, and then also maybe some explanatory work on my end to help walk through those steps. And as I'm putting the course together, I want to put it together in a way that's very seamless, that brings students together step by step. No one wants to have to go through a maze to try to find the different tools, the different resources. It should be very sequential. It really builds upon the common question of why am I reading this? Why am I looking at this? It really comes to that central mindset of everything will work together to move forward. And I think that's where the learning sequence is going to happen as well, where ideas are introduced, they're reinforced, and then they're brought up a few weeks later. So it's not just kind of an exercise of remembering key terms, key backgrounds, but really how are they applying that over time? And it becomes a synthesis of this knowledge to really succumb to some big projects, some outcomes and the like. And so really as a constructivist, creating a community of learners, like I said, my idea is to give a variety of different strands of activities, really learn about who they are, give them a few self-assessments, help them understand who they are, how they learn, how they connect with others. Because one of the programs I'm looking to teach will be in relation to management, to leadership, and to really look at a position or helping people prepare for positions that work with a variety of cross-functional teams and how do they navigate that. And so it's really helping them building the communities of learners. And so how do we do that? It's really giving them applied experiences, understanding cultural competencies, really building the roots that they have, and then just scaling those out. I think the relevant teaching strategies I'm going to use is not just reading, video, but also a lot of things, case study analysis, response to discussion questions, open-ended, exams, videos, PowerPoints, that they're going to be able to learn new skills, maybe technical and what they call critical type of skills, where they can continue to apply those. They'll go directly into their work. And so I wanted to draw some attention to really discussions. So discussions aren't going to be, what does this mean? But really about, here's a situation and how would you respond? And what recommendations would you give? and really cultivate that and share a summation of those recommendations and to respond to every student, and not just to respond to say great job, but to validate them, to explore their opinions, and then to ask more insightful questions to help them dig deeper. Another approach that I plan to do with not just facilitating discussions, but building rubrics that actually give meaningful feedback. I don't want to just click through a speed grader in Canvas just to give like 10 points for something. There comes with a variety of things that comes with that, not just structure, but collaboration, type of collaboration, innovation and how creative they are. And then also for accountability purposes is, did they meet deadlines? I feel that that's going to be something, talking to a lot of industry boards, what they're really looking for is, can we have dependability? How do you help people practice that dependability? Is really help them set their goals and project management type of things. How do you set timelines and buffers along the way? And so there's just going to be a lot of indirect learning that's going to happen because of this. And so some of the things I look to do also with criteria with grading is not so much did they answer the question I feel it was adequate in my only single perspective, but also have peer feedback. What do your peers think? Really build that up so they can not just say this was great, but what can you do differently? How can we enhance that? And really build upon that and work together, because we're going to be a team in this. And it's going to be really a team-driven approach to learning. And so I feel that finding ways to create innovative assignments will really help facilitate that as well. Group work is good when you can try to get different individuals from different background locations, so on and so forth together, as that's how the world we're operating in now in remote work environments. But also on top of that is, how do we solve problems? How do we give individuals real life experiences that they may face, where you can't just open a textbook to try to find an answer, that you have to make a decision on the fly and then understand that decision through fruition, and then respond back or change or shift spaces. We know we all live in an agile type of world. So how can we teach those agilities? And so it's going to be through projects and activities that span across multiple weeks, that they're building upon a common idea and then carrying that through fruition. So it's really not just that, but also building, as I had alluded to earlier, an appreciation for differences with cultural competency, learning about diversity, equity, inclusion, how that is important. It's really shaping the society that we live in, and how they can be more global citizens, how they can be critical thinkers, how they can take data and information and build that information literacy, and so on and so forth, is really facilitating groups change and a great experience that they can carry forward to lead their teams. And so that is a snapshot of what I'm going to cover this term, and hopefully the future ones coming forward. Thank you.